So one of the things I highly suggest doing if you struggle with choosing your colors, and I definitely do personally, is to use an image as basically your, to sample from to use that. Okay, so there's a couple different options for this, ways of going about it. So one is if you use something like, let's say you have a dress that you really like, or a shirt you really like, or shoes or something. Somebody, a designer, has already looked at, has already made those decisions and chosen the colors that would work with each other. So you can literally just go through and in Photoshop just sample, take a picture of it and then just sample from the picture, like where there's green and where there's blue and, you know what I mean, and off green and things like that, and then use those as basically the crux of your site, and then you can use that as the design that will carry it throughout the entire thing of it. So that's one way of doing it. Another thing to do is, especially if your site is going to have like one major image, like just a big old picture or something, like it's going to be a background or a huge banner, or like the call to action that's at the top, is you can actually use that image and sample just from that. And again, you can go in Photoshop and manually do it. Just use the eyedropper and eyedrop what you want. Or another thing you do is if you go to this color wheel thing, I think I showed you this before, you go to Adobe Color and you can choose, the type of color scheme you want. But they have another option here for import image. So if you import image, and then I just download this from the internet. This is not my picture, but I can download this picture, and then what we'll do is it'll automatically find colors that match. Okay, and the great thing is when you take a photo, like a live action photo in the real world, the colors all naturally harmonize anyway, because every element in here, right? So the light from the sun is coming here, right? The sunset, and it's bouncing off of everything. So everything is getting that same, that elongated wavelength of that yellow, getting to red kind of sun. So everything's incorporating that. And then also on top of it, everything's getting a reflection from the top of the blue sky onto it. And the light is bouncing off of all the elements inside there as well. So they're all naturally being influenced by everything. And so they naturally all will match. So they have colorful, they have bright. So here's the bright version. That doesn't really look much different. Muted. There's a muted version. What else we got here? Deep. Right? If you feel deep. Dark. Deep and dark. I think I'm going to stay out of that section. Then they have custom, which basically you can, sample your own things. And then it'll give you the colors down there. So that's another thing you can do. But I would highly suggest using an image or something like that, because it works. Okay? Yeah, that's just a tip, quick trick. But remember, you want to, it's like fonts. You want to have 2 or 3 colors or primary colors. So like with your fonts, you want to have like basically a heading font, and you want to have body font, right? The font you're going to read a lot of, and the font that's just meant to draw people in. Now you might have some sub fonts, like maybe having a side font where like, people will pull a quote out and it's written different. Sometimes like in a handwritten kind of font. And usually it's like thinner. You could have some fonts that are just for links that are like thicker and bolder. So you could have a couple of other ones in there, but you should have primarily, 2, maybe 3. The same thing for colors. You should have primarily 2 or 3. You can have some other subcolors, but you don't want to go too crazy with it. All right. That's it.